so we can see ourselves. Boom, baby. We're live. The bull market is here. I don't know. What do you think?
You're here to fucking stay. Even if it dips below the last price low in December just a little bit, it's not going to stay there very long. We're going to make some money, just accumulate in 2019, baby.
It's looking good. It's looking good. Good morning, guys. I, too, have just awakened from deep slumber. It's 10 p.m. here in Tokyo on a Thursday night, but it is 9 a.m. on the Eastern Coast.
You're in American time now.
The old United States of America. Good morning, everybody. How is that Bitcoin price treating you? I told you fuckers to buy it. I told you from when did we start this thing?
We started in February. Middle of February.
Middle
of February. The price at that time was about $3,400.
Yep.
Now it's $5,300, basically $2,000 up since we started saying Bitcoin's going to be going good in the next year or three.
And today we're going to talk about, literally, I came to this conclusion. This was my bread and butter bragging point in 2017. This is really why I got into Bitcoin, because it's just common sense, common supply and demand. That's our two guys here. It's a supply and demand.
Lots of demand.
The ones crucified behind us. They're all Rush. There's Rush. There's the bread coin bowl. But yeah, man. Really, today we're gonna talk about the Bitcoin halvening, and in our lifetime, we will experience a couple more halvenings.
Oh, quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like this one coming up is going to be something different because, the normies are out there still norming. And,
like they do.
Yeah, the normies are norming. They're watching the Kardashian. They're calling Bitcoin a scam. They're saying all this shit. They're not watching, accredited sources like us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're not even paying attention, right? They're just stuck in their phone, stuck in the bullshit on Instagram, and this just distracting them from a once in a multi-generation opportunity to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, man, it's like it's gonna be a great opportunity. So the halvening is gonna happen next year, and I was really excited about this in 2017. 2017 is when was the last big bull run, and that was like the largest bull run in Bitcoin history.
Yep.
So
in terms of dollar value.
Yeah, in terms of dollar value, it was the largest one, and so this time coming around, it's really going to be something even greater.
Yeah, it'll get the one in 2013 got everybody's attention for the first time.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Like basically, when it got. When it was on the internet, right, from 2009 until 2012, basically people were just like, that's drug money. It's bullshit. It's not going to work.
Yep. Bullshit.
Bullshit. Perfect. And then in 2013, it got up to $1,000.
Right.
People were like, oh shit, maybe this thing is real.
Yep.
And then it dumped. And people were like, oh yeah, it's fake. We were right.
Right.
And then again in 2017, like you said, it went to $20,000, and everybody had the same reaction. Once it hit 10,000, people were like, "Oh shit, this might be real again." And then once it hit, 20, people were like, "Holy crap, I got to get in." And then once it hit, back down to 10,000, people were like, "Oh yeah, it's fake again."
Yeah, just normies out there, hardcore norming.
Yeah. So it'll be the same the next time around. Once we get to $100,000, or maybe $50,000, people will be like, "Oh shit, this might be real again." But actually, we have like the next 2 years of people still disbelieving in this stuff. So
yeah,
that's when we get the money.
So the chat is already pretty lit up. It's nice.
Good.
Michael Vargas says, "Will crypto get to 20K by 2020?" Which I mean, Bitcoin.
It means Bitcoin, yeah.
We're gonna talk about that today. Actually, let's not jump ahead. We have an order of how we're gonna talk to that. But I mean. In the year 2020, I would say it's definitely possible.
Oh yeah,
more possible than not.
Yeah, I would say probably not by 2020, so not by the end of this year, but within 2020, by the end of 2020.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinking.
End of December-ish.
Yeah, not that hard.
No, man, I'm telling you, this is gonna be something big, man. It's gonna be definitely something big.
Yeah, and once we get close to 20,000 again, that's when you'll start seeing CNBC getting back on this and saying shit about it, saying we're not going to break 2020. It's going to go to zero from here. You know, it's not going to break 20,000, right? That's what they're going to say.
And you guys saw my show yesterday about media manipulation, you know, with all their studies and their, you know, accredited sources. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, you know, the media is the normie fucking factory generator.
Yeah, it's just, well, especially in terms of Bitcoin, they just spread lies about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was really interesting to watch once we started this show. You know, the first reactions people had, especially because a lot of people on your show in particular, and who watch this show, are kind of getting introduced to cryptocurrency for the first time. We have a few people, you know, who know quite a lot about it, but also we have some guys who are like brand new to it.
Yep.
And the first thing that comes out of people's mouths is because that's what they get in their ears and in their eyes from CNBC and shit like that is all this kind of vitriol, all this stuff that's actually not true about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so I think the media is doing a pretty good job at bashing it, but it's just keeping, for us, for the people who know about it, it's keeping the opportunity kind of closed off, which is really good for us and why, you know, this year is probably the best year to accumulate. In addition, next year is a good year too, but the price will probably be over 10,000 by that point.
No, definitely now's a good time to buy, and it's scary. It is what it is, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, we've been telling you since February.
Yeah, well, we're gonna continue every week. So.
Yeah, so it's, you know, Charlie's gonna tell you every day on his damn channel.
Yep.
So you can find Charlie over at Cultivate Crypto. You can just type that into YouTube. You'll find him. He's the only channel named Cultivate Crypto.
Oh yeah, I got that shit on lockdown.
Yep. So we're going to talk about all that today, and like, you know, just a reflection of even today's show and just like our show in general. Okay, so you guys that are watching right now, clearly you guys are like, you know, the smartest of the bunch because, you know, I'm not just talking about getting ass and banging broads and all that stuff, which is fine. But let me tell you something: when you have a bunch of fucking crypto money, and if you have a cool $1 million in digital cash, you know, women will be the last thing you're worried about.
Well, yeah, it'll be easy, right?
It'll be super easy. But that's the thing, like, you know, like, look at even my show on the regular day versus the audience count on like the Tokyo Crypto Show, even the view count, it's extremely lower. But this information, literally, if you followed us from day one and took our advice, like, we would literally have made you money by now.
Yeah, if you bought one Bitcoin, we would have made you $2,000, maybe almost doubling your money.
Yeah. So, like I said, you know, just keep an eye on things and watch this too for you guys that are watching right now while the market is not too beneficial, like on mainstream terms, right? Watch what happens when the market blows up and we're in bull run. I guarantee you we're going to hit like 100 people a show easily.
Oh, yeah. Like even right now, some of the guys who are kind of big in crypto, right? They get a few hundred, a few thousand, kind of like the Red Man Group pretty easily. So... Yeah, when Binance was coming out in 2017, 2018, at the top of the bull market, they had 200,000 people making Binance accounts per day.
200,000, yeah, there you go.
So, yeah.
Normie's norming at all-time rates there, so.
Exactly.
What are you going to do when the normies norm? You just got to watch them. You're just like little lemmings. Just watch them jump off the cliff.
Yeah. Once Bitcoin stabilizes and there's no, like, benefit to be gained in terms of, like, as an investor, then it'll be mainly used as a store of value or an exchange of value, like the dollar is, or gold is. Once it gets to that point, people will be like, "Oh, I'm very happy to use Bitcoin because it's so stable," but kind of like they missed the boat on the volatility.
Yeah.
To make a ton of money. So whatever.
Yeah, that's like what we say. When we say people like, you know, like when people like Midori, like if people like Midori can actively explain Bitcoin to you, that's when, you know, like the adoption rate has been pretty solid. Like, yeah. You know, and like okay, like the normies have figured it out.
Yeah, that'd be like 30% of the population probably using it by that point, and people,
Jesus Christ,
you know, yeah.
Jeez, and we're at less than 1% right now, right?
Less than 2 for sure, potentially less than 1, probably at least.
All financial transactions are less than 1%.
Oh, yeah. Financial transactions for sure. I'm just saying in terms of the amount of people who are using it. Like, not actively, but who hold accounts.
Yeah.
Maybe who hold coins and stuff like that. Probably 1 to 2%.
Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. we are the only call-in crypto show on the planet, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I watched a couple.
Nobody, you can't call in and talk to any of these fuckers, right?
No, I watch a few live streams and crypto stuff. You can chat like we chat here, but they can't call in. No.
Yeah. So guys, you're welcome. Call in 657-383-1318. You know, watch me coddle these little bears. I don't know why or these little bulls. I don't know why I'm just holding these things. It's very comforting, actually.
Yeah. Well, so is when the price of Bitcoin goes up.
Fuck yeah, man. I'll put these things in the toilet when it crashes, though.
Motherfucker. Just get wrecked and liquidated.
Oh, God. That's going to be terrible. No, but like I said, as long as you play your game, right? Charlie and I are looking at the charts right now, you know, and I've made... I'm not gonna talk about how much I made, but I've been playing around, not playing, strategically analyzing charts and prices every day, and I'm able to make a profit from just like this. Touch my keyboard, make a little money. Jacob wants to know: are third world countries using crypto?
Yeah, Venezuela is heavily using it.
Zimbabwe too.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, Zimbabwe. Remember, Zimbabwe was like the great price indicator for us in 2017.
I think in like Nigeria they have a bit too. Actually,
Nigeria's not third world though.
Oh, really?
No, Nigeria's pretty developed.
Okay, yeah, I don't know much about Africa.
Nigeria's
South
pretty
Africa's developed.
Zimbabwe's definitely third world shithole though.
Yeah.
But no, Nigeria's actually, you know. Don't judge them by the guys in Roppongi trying to sell us drugs.
I can't help it, you know. When you see those guys, you're just like, interesting, you know.
There's a lot of we both obviously this is the Tokyo Crypto Show. Charlie and I live in Tokyo, and there's a lot of Nigerians that sell drugs in Roppongi and Shinjuku areas. So that's just kind of
get you in the nightclubs too.
Yeah.
They make a living, so you
I respect those guys. I respect them, but yeah. Nigeria is actually a pretty developed country, but no, Zimbabwe is definitely a shithole.
Yeah.
So, and I think the Zimbabwe inflation is just fucking crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple charts right now of like how inflation has like changed in the last 10 years. Venezuela's kicking everybody's ass. Like it's just like kind of sad actually how crazy it is. But
why don't we show the folks what's going on in Venezuela?
Oh man, yeah, this would probably be good to show both at the beginning and end of this show. But look at this shit.
That's Venezuela literally right now. The cash is fiat fiat currency. Fiat currency. Jesus Christ, I can't even speak.
Hey, you just got it, whatever.
Fiat currency, right? And fiat currency is backed by nothing. And this is the
faith in the government, which means also basically nothing.
Nothing. I have zero faith in any fucking government. The only if I could just bet on anything is that the government will fuck something up. If I could bet on that.
Well, they'll fuck you in the ass too as much as they can.
Jesus fucking Christ! You talk about getting raw dogged by somebody.
Good God! Well, look at this picture.
Yeah.
Right? So not only do you see like how worthless the money is because it's just like all over the streets, you have to have like a fucking wheelbarrow of money here. In order to make a purchase on anything, so people generally don't give a shit, and also it just hurts them financially. But you can see in the middle of this picture here, right? There's a policeman here as well, right? It's unruly. The cops are gonna try to like keep everybody in check, but
this is like Germany post World War II, right?
Or worse.
Yeah, and it's so bad right now with the financial situation in Venezuela. And this is what happens when you this is the future of all fiat currency, basically. I mean.
Yeah, and
unless you're knocking some doors down and delivering some freedom with America,
which will sadly probably happen in some of these places, right? So
yeah,
and Russia as well is trying to get into the mix in that. So it's kind of like, it's kind of scary to think about, but that shit happens. It's history, right?
Yeah. So that's what we got going on here. That's literally live shot from Venezuela. Their money is so worthless that it's just in the streets. Not cool. So let's get the show started, but before we get it started, say what's up to the boys in the chat. What's up to the people of Instagram? What's going on over there, guys? And then Peter, what's going on? Cody, what up? He's always gonna catch the replay. Parrish Privateer Solutions, what's up, man? Greg, Lou, King Nick, Robert Allen, what up, bro? Michael Vargas, yo, let's see. Zuck Nation, what's up? Jacob, what up? King Nick is actually, King Nick, you're Nigerian. That's cool. Nigeria is legit. Yeah, that's what I figured. I got some Nigerian friends of mine, and they're pretty well off. Mr. Jackson, what up? It's almost as if communism doesn't work. Yeah, right. Fucking color me shocked. So how about what we want to do? Do you want to review the price first, or?
Yeah, I think let's get into the price of Bitcoin.
All right, go.
Just kind of like to be careful for whoever's out there making any decisions on it.
Yeah.
So I think if we do that, they can see it, right?
Yeah, they can see that.
We're good. So we'll keep this brief because the halvening will probably take up most of today's subject. But basically, anybody who's been watching my show knows where the price has been going. And right now, we're in this pattern here called an ascending triangle, which just basically means it's a triangle where price tends to go up. Once it gets closer to the apex of this triangle, it generally breaks out. If it does break out, then at the widest part of this triangle, basically this candle here, the price then does the same amount from like this candle will then basically you just like take this thing that's about the same, put it up here, and then you can put it right on top of the line, right around there, and you'll see if it does break out of this triangle in the next couple of days, we probably will see around $5,700 Bitcoin.
So where's the triangle that I'm looking for here?
So this blue line here.
Ah, okay.
So that's all you need to know. The other stuff I just kind of put on there, so don't just ignore that for now. If you're on the show, you'll know why that stuff is there. But looking on the downside, right? So this triangle also has a bottom part. So if it breaks below, let's say somewhere around here, 5,100, that starts to show that this triangle is invalidated, which means that if it breaks down significantly from there, so I'm thinking if it breaks below $5,000, then we'll probably put a cycle top around that point or maybe earlier, and then the price will go down for a while. So we got to wait and see if the price decisively breaks above the triangle or goes below it.
And then, so given the time frame, how many more, like, how many days would you say?
I would say 2 days for us to break above this decisively. So we want to see like the next 1 or 2 days, because that's
what price do we want to hit in the next 2 days?
Probably around here, 5,400.
Okay, and that would be the first time it's gotten that high in a while.
Yeah, so these, you can see the wicks of these two candles here.
Scratched it.
Yeah, 5,350 basically. So they just scratched above. So if we break above 5,400, then 57, 5,800 is probably likely. You probably don't want to try to catch that very top. I mean, it is technically possible that we could get up to 6,000 in this resistance zone and then break back down. But you don't want to catch the top exactly. You probably want to get out somewhere around like 5,650 if it does break above 5,400 in the next 2 days. If it doesn't, then if you're in Bitcoin now, then you want to start thinking, okay, am I in profit from when I got in? And then if you are, well, even if you aren't, probably want to use the US dollar tether strategy we used, which is if it breaks below 5,100 or definitely 5,000, then start thinking of your exit strategy until the next cycle.
So yeah, so like me personally, I'll just give I had 0.12 Bitcoin, and then I was able to, over a course of a year, trade that up to what I have now, which is 0.84.
That's good.
And so this is just using passive, like not obsessing over the price, nothing like that, just popping in, making a few commands, and just getting out. So me personally, like, so, obviously Charlie's the expert, and I'm going to give you kind of like I'm like kind of a novice trader, right, if you will. So I have a very common sense approach. And so basically, I'm trying to cultivate more crypto, trying to build and get more cryptocurrency. So when I'm looking, because I got back in at about 5,090, right? So even if I were to sell right now, I would be at a profit, and then I could wait for it to crash down to 4,500 or something. But excuse me. But what I'm gonna do is I'm waiting for about 5,500, and then once I sell 5,500, I would make some cash profit, and then I will wait for it to crash down to about, there's no theoretically there's no guarantee it's going to crash down to anything,
Of
but
course, there's never guarantee on the upside or the downside. You just have to understand the patterns up until to basically figure out what's the probability that it will go up versus down.
right. So what I'm gonna do is like I have the whole strategy. I'm hoping it goes back down to 4,500 roughly, based off of me and Charlie communicate every day, and so I'm hoping it goes down to 4,500, and then that way I'll sell it 5,500, and I'll have a good amount of fiat, and then it'll crash down to 4,500, and then I'll buy then, and then I'll have more than one Bitcoin, and that's me trading from 0.12 Bitcoin all the way trading up to more than one Bitcoin.
Fucking good.
So yeah, to be honest, it's taken me a year and a half of doing it. But hey, the time's gonna pass anyways.
Oh, for sure. And you only made a few moves. It's not like you made that many, right? It's just...
Yeah, I didn't make any at all. So that's just like a perception of a guy like me who's just like not like I can confidently call myself a novice trader.
Yeah.
Like I have a decent understanding of how to get in and get out and just use this US dollar tether strategy.
And you also have your finger on the pulse of kind of what people are talking about with Bitcoin as well. You understand the technology, which I think those 2 points add to the decision making, right?
I'm very good at social media. I'm always seeing what's going on, and I've always got my finger on the pulse of society. So news does push the price up, and then one thing that we like to do is because obviously we live in Asia. And so one little pattern that we do is we notice that 9 a.m. usually 9 a.m. USA time is very reactionary time.
Yeah, basically when New York wakes up, basically Tokyo and New York are huge financial centers, right?
Right.
So when Tokyo wakes up on a Monday, that's usually Sunday night in America. The price pumps before lunchtime and then goes down in the middle of the afternoon. US wakes up in our evening. So New York wakes up at 9 a.m. on their Monday. They pump again around their lunchtime, which is the middle of our night, or actually probably more so at the end of their working day, which is our 5-6 a.m.
Yeah.
Which is maybe around 3 to 5 p.m. New York time. Then they sell off, take their profits. The middle of the week is a little bit less predictable, but that pattern still happens on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And then on Fridays, people take profits if they've got them.
Yep. And then that's typical for the Japanese too. The Japanese are huge forex traders.
Oh,
yeah. I see Japanese people stressing out on their phones on the train, like watching these charts and stuff. I've seen beautiful women staring at Bitcoin currency prices and trading and stuff. So actually, that one chick, do you remember me? There's that one chick. You remember? Maybe you don't remember as much as I do, but. There's some chick with huge fake tits that was a trader at these Roppongi Bitcoin events.
Oh no, I remember her. I remember you talking to her a few times. Yeah.
She had some big old titties, and she was a trader. I was like, "Well, you a trader?"
Well, she used those to her advantage for sure. The nerd community.
Right? Oh yeah, all those things pulled me over. I was like, "Hey, what's going on, lady? You want to learn about Bitcoin, lady?" Oh yeah. But anyways, going back to just what we're talking about, that's just a perception of me, who's just kind of average guy. I know I know a lot about cryptocurrency compared to the average person, but
99% of the population knows nothing.
Yeah, so but that's just a generic strategy that I offer, and then Charlie offers super in-depth training. If you really want to go gung-ho on this shit, it'll probably take you a year to really get this going, but then you're literally touching your computer and making money. It's like magic internet money.
Yeah, we've already gotten a few people in profit zone, and there's some guys waiting for a better price to get in, which is fine. But I've had some people who I've coached who basically are buying entire Bitcoins, and then there's some people who are only buying $100 of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Either way, is fine. Just as long as, basically in increments of 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the benchmarks for when you go from novice to somebody who knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah. And understanding this stuff is nothing but beneficial.
No. I mean, like you said in the other show, right? If you get a crypto job, Potentially, I mean, basically, most 99% of the population doesn't know jack shit when it comes to crypto. So if you know what you're talking about, this area is super, budding, right? So you could easily get a job with whatever skill you have. If it's a technology skill, if it's a marketing skill, sales skill, whatever. If you want a job in crypto, you can. If you don't, at least understanding it, you can make a side investment, side hustle, and make some money on the side.
Yeah, and then we got a guy in the body language mastery group from France. Our buddy Xavier. He is a software engineer, a blockchain software engineer. So these guys are everywhere, and he's
smart guys.
He's not eating out the garbage. That guy's the guy's got a. I'm not going to talk about how much money he's got, but
Well, yeah, if you're a technology guy and you're very knowledgeable about Bitcoin blockchain stuff, easily over 100K.
Talk about job security.
Oh yeah.
Talk about the job. Your job's going nowhere. No AI is going to be able to do that shit in a very long time. So, real quick, guys, we've got 22 people watching. Thank you all for watching. Can you just please click like? That'll just boost us in the YouTube algorithm, and we'll help free the minds of the normies. Like, we'll get them into crypto. We'll get them some crypto gains. And then Mr. Caballero says, should I ever cash out 100%? What do you think?
So it depends on what your goal is.
And you should always enter this with a goal in mind. Like,
honestly, hell yeah.
My goal is to buy a house with my crypto gains.
Yeah, me too, actually, yeah.
Just buy a house and just be like, okay, I got a house, and then fill it with guns and like be just that
like John McAfee.
Just be that guy like waiting for the government to fuck me over.
Yeah, pretty much John McAfee.
But that's my goal. So I'm going to buy a house in Florida. I only need $100,000, and so my goal is just if I can come out of this whole Bitcoin thing with a house paid for scot-free, I'm good to go. So that's my goal. So Mr. Caballero, brother, you need to have a clear goal in your mind. Because honestly, in the Bitcoin bull run of 2017, I was up $60,000+, but I had no fucking goal, and I lost all of it. I lost all the profit.
Yeah, people get greedy, don't take profits.
Yep.
Or don't take enough profits, and then you just have to wait for the next cycle, which takes several years, which...
We're here now, though. I'm not going to make that mistake again.
Hell no. Usually people go through the same progression, right? They don't believe about it at first. A couple years later, it goes crazy. They jump in. They don't have a plan. It crashes. They suffer with the crash. Then they're smart. If they stay in it and they didn't get wrecked, they continue with it for the next cycle. They're the ones who make all the money on the next cycle, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah. So,
but to answer his question, I would say personally, I never want to be 100% out of crypto because I think it will continue growing over the course of generations.
Yeah.
So if your goal is like, say, for example, let's say you have $1,000, you want to wait till the price gets to $2,000, like in terms of your profit. Then once it doubles in price, take out half, you have your original investment. So everything you have in there is house money, basically profit. And then you can just ride the rest of it out. And if you pay attention to when these cycles and waves occur, then you'll know when to take that out and then when to get back in at the correct times.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, here's a little bonus. Actually, during the bull run, I actually was the guy that told Rolo to buy Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he bought some.
Nice.
I think he bought it around like. Actually, I don't know if I should say, but...
Yeah, don't say the exact price. Maybe if he comes on the show as a guest sometime, he can say it himself.
But I'm the man responsible for him. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm the man that's responsible for Rolo buying Bitcoin. So the Godfather of Metasphere.
You're responsible for a lot of people buying Bitcoin, so it's a good thing.
I am. I'm responsible for you buying Bitcoin.
You're responsible for me going harder into Bitcoin than I would.
You didn't have any when I met you, right?
No, I had Ethereum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I started with Ethereum because I got a tip from somebody who knows a lot about that because that was going up at a higher percentage. But then once I realized, oh shit, Bitcoin runs the show, then I met you. We met Vitalik.
Like the douchebag guys talking about this digital money, huh?
Yeah, he's making some sense.
Making some sense. Maybe this guy's not so crazy after all.
He's pretty damn smart compared to the rest of the normies. And just like, yeah, I think we got on really well with that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, then we both just went hella crazy with it, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, it was good stuff. What's up, Ivor? But yeah, let's continue on. So let's talk about. So that was the price. We talked about the price. So let's talk about the great Bitcoin halvening. So here, why don't you take it from here? You got the thing planned out.
Yep. So, which one is it? This one?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, buddy.
So this website here is www.thehalvening.com, and it just explains the very basics of the halvening, of what will happen. Of course, the halvening, when we say halvening, is just kind of like a meme-ish type word. People just say it because it sounds fun. Mm-hmm. The actual word for Bitcoin is like you can see here, Bitcoin halving. Mm-hmm. And so that just means every 4 years, the rewards that miners gets cut in half. So
right.
Here's a better explanation of this that will be really simple.
Well, let's read it.
Yep. So in the Bitcoin network, user transactions are grouped in blocks and recorded to a digital public ledger called a blockchain. So we went over that in our show number 1.
Yeah.
Miners are in charge of this task and receive a mining reward in the form of Bitcoins for each block recorded. Okay? The amount of Bitcoins rewarded for each block decreases with time. Basically, it is halved every 4 years. So this event, the moment when the mining reward is divided by 2, is called the Bitcoin halving. Other denominations, other ways to say it are the reward drop, reward halving, or simply halving, or the halvening, which I said before is kind of like part from the meme culture of Bitcoin. So it was created in 2009, and the first rewards at the beginning were 50 Bitcoins per block that miners got a reward for.
Right.
2012, it dropped to 25 Bitcoins per block. And then in 2016, it dropped to, and this website was actually made before 2016, so it says will take place, but it already happened. But in 2016, it dropped to 12.5 Bitcoin, which is what we currently get.
Yeah.
And the next one will drop to 6.25 Bitcoin in 2020.
And that's interesting because so it happened in July 2016, and then December 2017, it went to 20,000.
Yeah, so we'll show a chart later of what happens before and after halvenings. But on both sides, the 1 year before, the price goes up gradually, and the year or so after, the price goes up, but very crazy.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like I said, this is it's halved every 4 years, so literally next year, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and if you look at the countdown here, got the rocket number 3 going to the moon again. Mm-hmm. And you can just see the ETA here of 409 days, which is May 2020 basically.
Yeah, a day and some change. Yeah.
Yep.
A year and some change. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, and here you can see a little bit of the meme culture. So when it's happening, it's happening. And you got Ron Paul going crazy too. Just freedom. He loves freedom, I guess. Yeah. So, anyways, that's what's going to happen there. So, I think that's probably the main best explanation for what it is. Mm-hmm. But I guess the other question then is, why does it happen, right?
Right.
And so you want to kind of think about Satoshi Nakamoto. Why did he create this, and why did he create this system for distributing the Bitcoin?
Right.
So the first reason is, like you said before, there's 2 things, right? Supply and demand. So if demand is good, supply decreases, price increases. Mm-hmm. Very simple.
Right.
And so
that's my rationale.
Yeah. So he wanted to keep Bitcoin scarce, limited, and finite.
Right.
But he didn't want to give it all out at the same time, because if he gave all the Bitcoin out at the beginning, then basically the price would never increase. The value, people wouldn't be able to find its value through natural market, price discovery.
Right.
So by slowly distributing the Bitcoin, the price gives people time to understand what the value of Bitcoin is, and then attribute a real value to it. The second thing it does is it's Satoshi's way to battle inflation, because as you know, fiat currency has crazy inflation. Like the price of the dollar, what you could buy with the dollar, 100 years ago, is, basically, worthless today.
Right.
So if you were to keep dollars under your pillow for 100 years, they'd become worthless almost.
Right.
Whereas if you keep gold under your pillow, it keeps its value generally. And Bitcoin is made to increase in value as long as the demand continues to increase. And because the supply is limited and people want it, the demand will continue to grow higher. And so people will be wanting to get more of it.
It's basically its own currency without any governing authority. And the only reason that currency devaluates is because the governing authority becomes corrupt. But in this situation, the governing authority is a mathematical algorithm, so it cannot become corrupt. Therefore, it is the most logical conclusion to invest into this type of money, because people, if you study people, obviously you guys know I have my degree in psychology and I'm a huge people person. I think people in general are trending towards more sovereignty.
Yeah, people want freedom. History has always wanted freedom.
Yeah.
I think in the Middle East, with Iran, they had, before a long time ago in history, they actually went off of like a gold type standard and went into fiat because the UK kind of forced them to when the UK was doing all its colonialism shit. And I don't know exactly when that happened, but one of the leaders of Iran was just like, we really don't want fiat because we know it will destroy our purchasing power, over generations.
Right.
That's why Britain wanted them to do it and take all their gold.
Right. And Iran to this day doesn't have a national bank, right?
I don't know about that.
I don't think they don't. I think it's like Iran, North Korea, and one other country. They don't. Oh, Syria.
Okay.
And those are all countries that we're delivering some freedom to.
Yeah. It's just. It's too bad for them, right? And even the Commonwealth countries that are controlled by the UK, most of their gold is held in the UK. So Australia has like the UK owes Australia like, I don't know how much gold, but a shit ton.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's still there or not, they don't know.
Wow. Well, don't piss off the Aussies.
Yeah, well, they're kind of far away from the UK, so they don't care. But the other thing to look at here, which is interesting, is here, this website called satoshi.nakamotoinstitute.org, you can see a lot of the communications from the beginning of Bitcoin. Because Satoshi Nakamoto, who is kind of the pen name for the guy who created Bitcoin, he, was actually talking with people, telling people about this technology when it first came out. So he, put the white paper out, put the idea out at the end of 2008. So you can see here, this email was November 2008, and he started putting out the white paper in October, I believe, of that year. And then Bitcoin went live in January 3rd, 2009. And here you can see some people asking about inflation. So should I read this email word for word? Because I think it will give people
we're head. Look, the guys that don't want to listen can go fuck themselves. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm getting just like, if you're gonna listen to us, if you haven't listened to me and figured out that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, despite my small channel size and just like all our overall authority, like everything we've told you guys to do so far, if you have taken action, literally, we would have provided you results by now.
Yeah, you would have made money.
Yeah, so you don't listen to us by now, like, just fuck off. So read it word for word for the guys that are actually going to do something with their lives.
Yeah, because this guy, or this group of people, which are penned as Satoshi Nakamoto, I mean, they changed the fucking world. This is going to be history. So these emails, they're kept on this website for a reason. So basically talking about inflation and how Bitcoin is made. He basically says increasing hardware speed. So basically, if the hardware that people use to mine Bitcoin becomes faster, what will happen? So he made Bitcoin able to compensate for future technology increases, right?
Right.
So here it says, to compensate for increasing hardware speed and varying interests in running nodes. So running nodes means people who are validating the transactions, the miners,
right,
that are decentralized. So varying interest in running nodes over time, the proof of work difficulty, which is how Bitcoin is made, the algorithm, is determined by a moving average targeting an average number of blocks per hour. And that means usually there's one block every 10 minutes. and that has stayed consistent throughout history. So that's 6 blocks per hour.
Right.
If they're generated too fast, the difficulty increases. So if people get better computers and are able to mine this faster, the difficulty increases in the algorithm so that every 10 minutes, roughly, the same block is mined and the reward is given. Currently 12.5 Bitcoins, next year 6.25. So that's basically how Bitcoin works. As computers get faster and the total computing power applied to creating Bitcoins increases, the difficulty increases proportionally to keep the total new production constant. Thus, it is known in advance how many new Bitcoins will be created every year in the future. And we know around the year 2140, the last Bitcoin will be mined.
We'll all be dead.
We'll all be dead. Our kids will have all of our Bitcoins if you're smart, right? Or their kids or whatever. And this is where it gets interesting. So the fact that new coins are produced means the money supply increases by a planned amount. So unlike the United States government, which just prints wildly.
Was it called quantitative easing?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, fucking retards. But they don't want you to be rich. They want you to stay poor.
Yeah, they want to be this slave game.
Yeah, so if you're to give your children your wealth when you die in dollars, and they keep it in dollars, they're not going to actually obtain most of the wealth that you created in your lifetime.
Right.
The government basically takes it back through making people poor through fiat currency. Here, though, the supply increases at a planned amount and is capped at 21 million Bitcoins. But this does not necessarily result in inflation. So the dollar results definitely in inflation.
Right, as we saw with Venezuela.
Yeah, and they tell you, the economists, they all tell you inflation is good.
Yeah,
those
guys need to get hit with baseball bats.
Yeah, they're Keynesian people. Keynesian is the guy who made the theory of why inflation is good.
Inflation is good. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
It's to brainwash you so you don't get rich.
Inflation's good, guys. Jesus fucking Christ.
These guys in power, you don't want to trust them. They want to make themselves rich and make you fucking poor.
Yeah.
And then here, if the supply of money increases at the same rate that the number of people using it increases, the price remains stable. What we've seen in the first 10 years of Bitcoin, has the price remained stable? No, the price is increasing rapidly. Why is that? Well, if the amount of Bitcoin does not increase as fast as demand, there will be deflation, and which is actually good. And early holders of money, basically now, we are the early holders of Bitcoin, will see its value increase. So that right there is the most important sentence in this email. Yeah. Because that is the opposite of what is happening with the United States government.
And if you don't believe us, just go look at Bitcoin. Go to coinmarketcap.com. How far back can we go on that one? CoinMarketCap.
CoinMarketCap's not that good for price history.
Let's do it. Can we pull up a whole price history?
Yeah, let me take us into this screen so that we can get that.
I can't see my porno.
So on most of the charts, the farthest you can look back is about 2013, because that's when Bitcoin was really on most of the exchanges. Before that, the first 4 years, some of the exchanges died, but then also
Mt. Gox.
Yeah, Mt. Gox basically died, but then also there's just not a price history on it.
Can you take all those bands off? Just so it's just candles?
I can't, because that's all my work.
Oh, I mean, you can't click it to just remove them, or no?
No.
Okay, fine.
I can take these off. Go like that, but all this
it's
other
a little,
work.
Yeah, it's a little
bit
better.
Messy. Let me try to open this. I have another chart with less clutter on it. Let's see that.
It's not a site.
No, this is the best place to look.
Yeah, that's good. That's nice. That's a good little normie view. Keep it normie for me too. Oh wow. What a time to be alive. Look at this fucking thing.
Here, let's share the screen now that we're on it.
Okay.
Hold on a second. If you put basically the bottom here for those people who are kind of advanced, there's a logarithmic scale and a percentage scale. So you can change the way the price looks. So sometimes it looks more flat over time. But you want to be able to see all the price jumps, right?
So basically, let's just that. Oh, that looks good.
That gets us back to 2016, but.
So okay, this is just an idea here. So this goes all the way back to 2016, but remember, Bitcoin started in 2009. So just from 2016, go all the way back there. Look, what was the
$325?
$325. Oh, that's November 2015 right there.
Yeah, and we can go back and look down here, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, this goes as far back as 2012. But basically, here's probably what we're going to look at. Like January 2012, about $5.
$5.
And then, yeehaw,
$5 Bitcoin. You're going to put $20 down and cash it out 5 years later and bought yourself a Lambo.
Hell yeah. And then you can see where it's at now. And I mean, this chart, you just have to keep pulling it down because of how high it goes, right? So, but yeah. What else do you want to?
That's just a history. I'll find another one. But yeah, let's just go. Let's check what's going on in the chat. YouTube. Cool. All right. So let's see what's going on here. So the cycle keep on repeating. Am I right? Like eventually it will go down. Hopefully not again and rise back up. Yeah, it needs to go down for it to go up theoretically.
Yeah. These price fluctuations are natural, so that's why actually figuring this out and understanding it, that's why I'm here, because it takes time to get that knowledge. But if you start trying to figure it out, then you won't, shit your pants when the price goes down.
And, so Wasted John says, yes, based on the way Elliott waves work, as well as human emotion, whether or not it goes even lower or establishes a new baseline bottom is something we can attempt to predict. But no one can read the future, just educated guesses. Yeah, it's like going on a date. You don't know if you're going to bang her 150%, but you can just have study body language, make sure you look good. You kind of just make sure that you are prepared for success. And, if she starts getting wild and shit, like talking back and like checking her phone and stuff, you're like, okay, fuck, sell, eject.
Cut your losses.
Gotta get out of here, sister. So that's the same thing with what we're doing here with cryptocurrency. It just gives you analyzing predictors within the economy, what's going on, and it gives you an idea of like whether you can you should get in or get out.
And the volatility is actually from human emotion as well. In the stock market, the price fluctuations are how people feel the price should be valued based on information of like how a company is valued, right? It's the same with Bitcoin. It's naturally, like I think Wasted John said, right? Elliott waves and Fibonacci levels will show you how people feel about the price and how people feel about Bitcoin.
Yeah, and then Privateer Solutions says, that's what I've been doing. I'd like to get up to 1 BTC by next year. It's good. I would say try to push it a little bit this year, right?
You always want to try to like have an aggressive goal and then a realistic goal, but try for the aggressive one first.
And Zuck Nation says, true, I'll either buy during the lows or earn some through selling my products. Yeah, I don't know, man. Lows are I think we're pretty much...
Well, I think he means maybe like future lows, less than where the price is at currently, right?
Do you think it's going to be... What do you think is going to be the all-time low for 2019?
I think we've already made it. Well... at the beginning of January, which is around 3,200.
Interesting.
But if it does go lower, maybe 2,800 at lowest. But I would say to get there would kind of be a miracle for most people because everybody will want to buy at that price. So I think probably the lowest that we go again, which would be around like 3,600, would probably be the best price you're going to see from now until the end of this year. If you get that, you'll get lucky. It might not go below 4,200, to be honest. So we'll see.
So this one I just wanted to show you guys. So obviously this price goes back to 2013.
Also about the same as the other charts, yeah.
So just so you can see a kind of clearer view here. So 2013 was $119, right? And it spiked here to almost 1,000. Then it crashed, and it actually went from 1,000 down to like. Or it had a pretty hard low. Like I think it went down to like even lower than 100.
Yeah, they don't show it on here because this kind of averages it out.
Yeah.
But it was like 100 and I think like $80 or $150, something like that.
So they went from 1,000 to like about 180, And then you can see it kind of was just, toting along here. And then, I mean, look at...
It only toted along and doubled its price, right? It's like one of those things where when people aren't paying attention, Bitcoin doubles in price.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm predicting for the next year.
And then, the catalyst started, I would say, around like 2017, right around, I would say, May is when shit got crazy, when it went up to 3,000.
Oh, yeah.
May is like right here. This one it started jumping, and then it got up to, oh no, it went up to, where did it get to 3,000? I thought it got to 3,000 in May.
It got close. It got to like 2,500.
So then this is all 2017. Then you have, the mania started to pick up. August, 3,000, 4,000. This is when we started getting really like, okay, this shit's getting real.
Yep. And then in September, Jamie Dimon said it's a fraud and it crashed, and China was like, we're getting out of Bitcoin and all that shit.
And then we went all the way up to fucking at the tip top here. It was like around 20,000 at the peak.
Yeah, it was 19,500 or roughly around there. This chart, like we said, is just kind of averages it out.
And then then from there it crashed, and so now we're in like this kind of down cycle, right? But even recently, these last couple of days, as you can see, it's kind of this little box is blocking. But as you can see, it like around fuck this box. You can see like right here. I'm gonna move the arrow away, but it's kind of just recently started taking another uptick. So some people do believe we're just starting the beginning of the bull run. I gotta tell you what, when I saw the price jump the other day, from like in the 4,000s up to, it went from like 4,000 to 4,700. When I saw it jump, something in my stomach said, like, I had a gut feeling this might be the beginning of the bull run.
Yep. And yeah, you also notice on that chart that the past prices were really, kind of flatlined, it looked like, but and the current price is high. Actually, that $20,000 high will start to look very small once we get into 2021, 2022. So the prices between $3,000 to $6,000 right now are a steal.
Oh yeah.
If you're looking out 2 years ahead.
Oh yeah. So why don't we continue on, and let's go to the next points here in our education.
Our education.
Education,
I love
as
it.
Jacob said there.
I love it. So yeah, we just talked about those things. Here's another countdown.
Did you change it on OBS?
I did.
Okay. Okay, cool. My bad.
No worries. So yeah, here's the actual official countdown. If you want to go to bitcoinblockhalf.com, you can see all of the data that will get you interested. But basically, we want to figure out now. Okay, so we know Bitcoin's doing well, and why the price increased in terms of inflation, right? But we want to know, how will the price increase over the next couple of years because of this happening? So both before and after it. So there's a few things we need to look at for that. Let's see here. So right now is basically the price, and might be good to actually see if we can get I guess I'll probably have to just say this information instead of showing it. So basically the market price is in, so this halvening, which will happen in May 2020, the market price is in the halvening because people expect the price to go up because the supply goes down.
Right.
And demand is staying the same, if not increasing.
Right.
So people know that the price will go up once the halvening happens. So usually on the day of the halvening, the price actually doesn't really move that much.
Oh.
So if you focus on, okay, I'm going to wait till the exact halvening and then buy some Bitcoin, you're too late. The market price is in the increase in price 1 year roughly before. And actually, no, I just remembered I had a good example of that right here. So you can see on this chart, in the first halvening, which happened in 2012, happened in the end of 2012, right here. 1 year before, the price steadily increased. And that price went from roughly $2 to $8. And then
at that first blue arrow.
Yeah. It went from at the bottom box of the first blue arrow on the bottom left of this 52 bar box. It started around $2 or maybe $1 and some change, and then went up to roughly about $8, $8.50.
Mm-hmm.
And then the yellow box, you can see after the halvening, the price goes insane for a year or so.
Mm.
And that price increase was actually even crazier. It was about $15 to about $1,200.
Yeah.
Which is an 80 times increase. So that means the 1 year before the halvening, you want to be accumulating because the price will increase significantly. And you can see this
It's happened 3 times in a fucking row. I mean, literally, we're giving you free money here.
Yeah, it's only happened twice, but it's going to happen again the third time, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's free money if you pay attention to this. And same with the year 2016. So 1 year before that, it started around $280 ish, and then in this blue box, and then went up to at the second halving, it went up to about $700, which is a 143% increase, which is good. So if you want to basically double your money, which is what it's even more than doubling your money, but if you roughly want to double your money, that's you just in the next 1 year accumulate like half a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
In the next probably 3 months.
Sit on it.
And then sit on it for a year, you'll double your money. And then, again, the yellow box went crazy, about 3,000% increase. And that time, it went up to, how much was that? From $650 to $20,000, which is a 30 times increase. So the first yellow box was a 80 times increase. Second yellow box was a 30 times increase. So actually, less than half, right? 80 divided by half is 40. Mm-hmm. So a little bit less than half. So let's say the next one, the next yellow box. How are we going to look at this next 1 year and then the year after that?
The last one on the chart here, the far right.
Exactly. This accumulation where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So from May of this year, so next month, until May of 2020 when the next halvening, the third halvening happens. Mm-hmm. Let's just say the price right now will average around $4,500. Right, we're at $5,200 now. If it goes down to like $4,000, let's just say $4,500 roughly is the mark we're looking at here. And then 1 year, if we do the same thing as the last two, we'll probably get to about $11,000 per Bitcoin, which is a little bit more than double, maybe triple. In May of 2020, something like that. Mm-hmm. Then, after 2020, going into 2021, 2022, the price, if it doesn't do, so if we took the 80 times in the first yellow box, 30 times in the second yellow box, so let's go down by half and then some change. So let's just be conservative and say it goes like 11 times. So 4,500, this 12,000 roughly, or 11,000 mm-hmm. at the end of the blue box going into the next yellow box. If we say about $11,000 times 11 or $12,000 times 11, it's about 130 to 100, about $130,000. So that would be
one Bitcoin.
For one Bitcoin in 2021, 2022.
Now people might hear that and think you're crazy.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be, rolling in it.
Yeah. Charles is going to be on a boat.
I'm on a boat. Exactly. And I think that's conservative. So if you look at these past histories, one thing to keep in mind is history doesn't repeat exactly, but it does rhyme.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the thing to be paying attention to over the course of the next 2 years. And you were saying this from 2017 as well, so...
Yeah, like it's just straight up, just like, basic supply and demand. Like, look, Bitcoin is like you can literally pay your debts in Japan to the Japanese government using Bitcoin.
Yep, and Ohio lets you pay your taxes in Bitcoin now.
You can bet in Bitcoin in Las Vegas.
Oh, can you?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, and these are small,
incremental gains.
Incremental gains for Bitcoin, but if you were to say 5 years ago to this kind of stuff to people, they think you're crazy.
People still think we're crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Yeah.
But then the other thing to kind of look at, so that's what to expect with the price of Bitcoin. So pretty simple, just do the math. You'll make fucking money.
Just look at the charts. Just look at them. Look at the past. Use your brain. You're probably a logical person if you're watching us. I mean, got 25 people still watching. We're an hour deep.
Yeah, they're going to be the ones making money.
Yeah, if you take action, you take action.
If they take action, that's
you take action.
Thing.
You know, if you got like honestly, that's what I tell every guy, just have one Bitcoin.
Yeah, if you buy one Bitcoin now or in 1 month or whatever, let's say in 1 month Bitcoin is $4,000, or you buy one now at $5,200. Are you really going to care when Bitcoin is at $150,000 or $100,000 or $300,000? You know, the $1,000 price difference? Mm-hmm. No, because you're going to have one Bitcoin, and you're going to be having over $100,000. So you'll be happy.
Hey, you also said, like, for me, if I can get out of this whole thing with the house, I'm Gucci.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I got back. That's just my goal, because I plan to, you know, monetize that house and create a stream of income. So,
yeah.
You know, but just basically me touching my screen and playing the Magic Internet Money game, touching my fucking keyboard here, and then I'm good to go. That's 100% good to go. So just have your goals set up, have your your targets lined up, and then make your move. And then assume just ultimately, it just has to be said. Of course, it's not financial advice. This is not financial advice at all. But if you did take our advice, you've made some money. But we're not giving financial advice.
Yeah, if you just bought one Bitcoin, you'd have made $2,000.
Yep. So, but what we're trying to say is that make sure you have a goal before you get into this shit. Because let me tell you something. That fucking Bitcoin mania, that's like crack, man.
Yeah. So the price, increase will be like okay until, probably about the end of 2020. Once we get into 2021, that's when the next mania is going to start. And then people will be like, when Bitcoin's $70,000, people are like, I want some.
Yeah. So here's a good indicator for you guys too, right? So here's something you need to know. Start talking about Bitcoin now to all your friends. Okay, just know, like, here's personal indicator. Okay, start talking to Bitcoin now to all your friends and tell everybody you into cryptocurrency, and just start talking about it, talking about how you're investing and talk about it, right? And come 2021, the price is gonna spike, and a good indicator for me is like when it hit 19,000, all my normie friends started calling me. Guys that didn't hit me up at it for like 3-4 years. They're like, yo, dude, I heard you're doing the Bitcoin. Because I would always be posting about Bitcoin on my private social media.
Well, and they're the ones who, when you first told them, they said, oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, so when all these normies start coming to you and asking you about, like, hey, can I get into Bitcoin? What do we do about Bitcoin? That's when you sell, in my opinion.
Yeah.
When people start hitting you out of the woodwork. Like, you talk to a guy in like 4 or 5 years. He's like, hey, man, heard you doing that Bitcoin. And then you're like, okay, time to sell.
Yeah.
Time to sell. But no, like I said, right now, it's there's no joke, man. There's a reason I accept consultation payments in Bitcoin. I give you 50% discount because I know the value of that Bitcoin at the end of the day. I know that fucking value.
Well, right. Zuck Nation said, like, maybe you want to earn some Bitcoin through a business. If you have a business where you can sell information or sell, your products online, there's a lot of people who just like to buy stuff from those types of people because they just want to support people who accept Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So you get more customers too.
Yeah, no, and it's good. Like I said, now's the time to get in.
Yeah.
And how are we looking on the... We're halfway through that page there or no?
Yeah, we're pretty close to the end actually because that's the majority of it. Okay. But one other thing to kind of look at, which is interesting, is do we have desktop audio on?
It should work.
Just turn it up. So here is the Litecoin halvening because that's what's actually happening right now. Mm-hmm. So Litecoin is going through a halving in August of this year. So this is something that you can see happening in real time before Bitcoin does it, right? And so what I want to show here is in this video, he explains something about how miners adjust the reward. So it's a little technical, but it'll give you a good idea. And if you want to see this, just go to litecoinblockhalf.com and you'll really understand how these halvenings work. But I think one thing people sometimes say is, well, won't miners stop mining if it gets too expensive, right? Or they won't be able to continue mining if the reward is dropped. as sometimes scares people about these halvings, right? Because if the reward gets less, won't less people want to mine it? And so this describes the technicals of how the algorithm adjusts for that. So I'll press play. Hopefully everybody can listen. It's on high volume.
Price of Litecoin higher. There is, however, one more part of the equation: the miners. So as we know, miners invest in specialized equipment in order to actually mine the coins. And just like any other business, they need to make a profit, otherwise it's just not worth them doing so. And now that their income is about to be cut in half, a lot of their ineffective equipment is about to be shut off. That is, unless the market price of the coins rise to a point where they can continue to make a profit. Either way, the miners face one of two options. Those being the price rises and everything stays pretty much the same as it is now. However, if it doesn't, a lot of miners will no longer be able to operate. In turn, the network hash rate will drop as they begin to shut off, leaving only the mining farms in places such as China working, in turn resulting in a less distributed network. If the network hash rate drops low enough, the mining difficulty will automatically adjust itself, meaning those who stopped may be able to start mining again at a profit. And while we do not know how high the price will go during this period, we do expect that after all is said and done, the price will settle higher than it was in the few months leading up to the halving.
Interesting.
All right, so Bitcoin works the same in the technical aspect as Litecoin, because Litecoin is basically Bitcoin's child, right?
Yeah.
So even though the reward will drop, the algorithm will adjust the difficulty. If there are less miners, the difficulty will decrease until it gets to a good equilibrium, and then the ones who are left, continue to get these rewards at the same clip. People, basically the network will stay up. People won't stop mining it. There was no change really in the amount of people mining it in the last two halvings. So that worry is what some people say, but basically it has no adjustment. And you can also see with Litecoin, the first time, so it's only halved once because it's younger than Bitcoin. And the first time it halved, it was at $1.40, it was at $1.40, and then it went to $8.50. And the difference with Litecoin is they price in this price change only a few months, maybe 3 to 6 months before the halving. So the next halving for Litecoin is in August. So that means from January until about July, the price will change, expecting the halving to drop, right?
Yeah.
And so the first time it went from $1.40 to $8.50. But this time, back in January, Litecoin was between $23 and $33. Now it's about $87, which is basically just a 10 times difference from what happened the first time.
Wow.
And so we might kind of be at a top here in Litecoin in the next couple of months, and then the price might go down, which let's share this. So you can see Litecoin acts a little bit differently than Bitcoin, right? So just a few months before, if you see the first halving in 2015, it shoots up in price. And here, this picture was taken in January of this year, around $40. And right now it's shot up in price to about this $85, $87 area we are now. Could go up a little bit higher, but the closer we come to August, basically it should probably level off back down around $40 or $50 for a while. And the reason why, Litecoin doesn't shoot up in price after it halves, because that's what Bitcoin does, right?
Right.
Litecoin doesn't, because it is a coin under Bitcoin. And so this gets priced in before, but not so much after. So it waits until Bitcoin takes off, and then the price goes crazy, which you can see here, going from $4 in the beginning of 2017 to about $350 at the end of the year, because it was waiting for Bitcoin to make a move, and Bitcoin made a move.
Right, and that's in the middle because they can't see your cursor on the screen.
Yeah.
So in the middle, that's like the huge price jump you see there is like due to what Charlie was saying there.
Yeah, so it happens in other coins, and we're seeing it happen right now in Litecoin. So that's something to pay attention to. And then the last, also this chart's kind of interesting, right? So this will show Well, actually, let's get to that last. There's one more point. So the other point I wanted to make is, so if the price goes up, will people just hold Bitcoin and nobody will ever transact in it? That's one thing that Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum, argues. He says, well, the one bad thing about Bitcoin is people will stop transacting it. It'll be a store of value, but people won't be using it as much. But actually, if you kind of look at real estate, right? So if I have a house, if I have a nice house with a big garden here in Tokyo, I will hold on to it until I die, probably. I probably won't, be selling my house if it's a really good house.
But you can live in the house.
You can live in the house. You can use it.
Can't live in your Bitcoin.
Can't live in your Bitcoin, but you can hold it and retain your wealth. Then, at least, people will probably spend it, but then also definitely when they die, they have to give it to somebody, right? So if they give it to their children, usually they have more than, one child, right? So usually the land, similar to real estate, it gets divided up. So here in Tokyo, you'll notice there's a lot of houses really close to each other because they used to have big areas of land, but then they got divided up over generations. So that's when we'll see Bitcoin really be distributed through the market. And actually, people won't be able to hold Bitcoin forever because eventually people die and they have to give it to somebody, and those people will then spend it. And if you know of any second generation people who have inherited wealth, they tend not to be very good with money because they
blow it all.
They blow it all.
They're a bunch of bums. They didn't work hard to get it.
Yeah, so people won't hold on to it. Eventually, you'll see, like this inflation here, that Bitcoin's inflation will actually go very close to zero, and then the price will stabilize. And so then people will actually be happy to use Bitcoin, and that'll be far in the future when we're dead. But the other thing to keep in mind, the last thing that I want to mention is the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the show, I mentioned the U.S. dollar does not retain its value, right?
Right.
And if Bitcoin is actually more deflationary rather than inflationary, that means that Bitcoin's value will increase while the dollar value actually decreases.
Right.
So if we take a look at this chart here, if we just show that on the screen, you can see the U.S. inflation rate history. So over history, over the last 100 years, the dollar roughly averages a 2% inflation rate per year. But you can also see some of these years it goes up as high as like 10%, 13%, 18%. So the dollar value loses its value a lot faster, and sometimes because of historical reasons. But yeah, you can just see like how the dollar becomes worthless through a chart like this. And this is at thebalance.com. So if you take a look, they take their data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so from the government, and you can see all that information. But if you want to transfer your wealth to your child or your family when you die, then you're not going to want to keep it in dollars, basically. And if Bitcoin basically goes deflationary and just keeps increasing in value over that same amount of time, who's going to win?
Yeah.
If you take a look here, 10 cents used to be in 1913, right? Maybe one coffee cost about 10 cents. Now that same value would be about $2.55. When I went to the Family Mart here, I had to pay 200 yen, which is about that price, for just a cheap coffee. So in 100 years, maybe it'll be like $25 or something, or $250 for a damn coffee.
Yeah, and this should just wake people up overall to the monetary scam that we're all involved in.
It is a scam.
No, we're totally getting fucking raped by the governments, and because it's just a joke. Because most people, they don't look into it. They're not like, why does this piece of paper have value? They don't really do the deep dive, and then at the end of the day, you look at Venezuela here. Like, this is just, we need to get away from this archaic financial way of doing things right now.
Yeah, it's just the government fucking people in the ass, wanting to take control, wanting to be in power, not only now, but generationally.
Yep.
So Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin is taking back sovereignty. Bitcoin is taking back your power, taking back the power to hold your own money. If people realize this, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it, I think, for us today, boys. Thank you so much for coming on by, Charlie. You guys go check out Charlie. He does a show every day, pretty much every day, right? What days is he off?
Weekdays.
Okay, Monday to Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Charlie does a show on his channel, which is cultivatecrypto.com. Go over and subscribe to his stuff right now, and then go to cultivatecrypto.com. His link is in the description box below.
Yep.
And you can just go check out his site, send him an email, and he'll help you out with getting everything set up, whether you want to get a personal computer, dedicated laptop, or you just want to get up a little wallet on your phone. I also offer these services, but Charlie is the expert, so you can come to either of us. And, yeah, just keep on watching us, and you'll see. We're right. It's just, you'll see. You'll see. Yeah. Watch us get rich, basically.
Yeah. And yeah, it's the crypto world, baby.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Webinar is going to go live here in about 30 minutes. Just going to take a moment here, have a breather. And then, yeah, we'll do the webinar. And that's only for the body language mastery students. So if you're not a body language mastery student, sorry, you can't get in. Registration opens again in June 28th. So mark your calendars. You got 2 months. And yeah, we will catch you guys next time. So thanks so much. See you later.